Hello YouTube, I'm Tim and welcome to part 2 of my DVD and Blu-ray update for June 2019. And this is going to play out a little bit different this time because I'm going to have a few shoutouts in this video. I have a radio station I want to give a shout out to and a web link to the station below, right before the comment section of this video, and also link some other YouTube channels, some of my favorite YouTube channels I want to give some shout outs to. But first, do a little bit of the update to lead in to the shout outs. Yeah, over the years, as well as being into like horror and comedy movies, also enjoyed science fiction like Star Wars and Flash Gordon, and some friends I made years ago on MySpace, Terry and Tiffany Dufault, who run a radio station via the internet, Cult Radio A Go-Go. When I first started listening to them, one of the things they would play were old-time radio serials, and they still play old-time radio shows, but a while back they used to play old-time radio serials on Saturday mornings. And they played Captain Midnight and Flash Gordon, were two that stood out the most. Of course, Flash Gordon standing out because there were those old movie serials of it that from the 30s and 40s, and Sci-Fi Channel used to rerun them on Saturday mornings when I was a teenager. And there was also later that 1980 Flash Gordon movie, and my friends Terry and Tiffany interviewed the actress from the 1980 movie, Melody Anderson, who played Dale Arden just in the 1980 movie. That I had never really owned any of the old Flash Gordon serials, the movie serials, on home video at all. I'd always seen the VHS tapes at Suncoast in the mall when I was a teenager, but I never bought any of the VHS tapes, and I'd watched it on Sci-Fi Channel years back. And I believe I watched a little bit of Flash Gordon on Comet TV, where they showed feature-length version re-edits of the old Flash Gordon serials. Well, over the weekend, off of Amazon, I bought a used DVD of the original 1936 Flash Gordon serial. Yeah, a used copy because I believe Universal Pictures still owns this, because they put the first chapter of this on that 1980 Flash Gordon movie DVD as an extra, and I believe it's also on the Blu-ray, just Chapter 1 of this 13-episode 1936 movie serial. And it says Space Soldiers because when this went to TV, when this was shown on TV, they renamed it Space Soldiers because at the same time there was already a Flash Gordon TV show that lasted from 1953 to 1954, which starred a different actor playing Flash Gordon, but they had to avoid the confusion, just rename the old Flash Gordon movie serial Space Soldiers for TV airings. But this is all 13 chapters of the original, and this was from when Image Entertainment had the rights to the original Flash Gordon serial, because this is Image Entertainment DVD, and I believe they don't have rights anymore because I had to buy this used, and I couldn't find it brand new. And I believe this just has... This doesn't really have any extras, you just get 13 episodes of the old serial on a single DVD, from what I can tell. See the chapter index. The Planet Apparel being the first episode. It says they're complete and uncut 13 episodes starring Buster Crabbe. And here's what it says on the back. Space Soldiers. In 1951, Flash Gordon reverted to King Features. Television syndication of the serial brought a demand for the new Flash Gordon adventures, resulting in a short-lived TV series, 1953 to 1954, starring Steve Holland. King Features renamed the 1936 Space Soldiers to avoid confusion. I already said that, but it just wouldn't. Just felt the need to repeat that. Well, and this mentions Hearst Entertainment, and I thought this... I don't know if Hearst Entertainment is part of Universal Pictures, or if maybe Universal Pictures only owns the 1980 film version now, and that's why they only put one chapter on the DVD of the 1980 version. Oh, and there's some DVD liner notes in here. Read a little bit. It says, Flash Gordon, a serial in 13 chapters, was filmed on a tight 6-week schedule beginning in October 1935 to bring it in on time and on budget. Cast and crew worked from 8 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. 6 to 7 days a week. Flash Gordon opened in April 1936. It was so popular, theaters decided to show each weekly episode at night, a highly unusual practice for a genre designed for the Saturday matinee crowd. By the end of 1936, Flash Gordon was Universal's second highest grossing release of the year, bested only by Deanna Durbin's Three Smart Girls. Then as now, such success meant a sequel was clearly in order. By popular demand, Flash Gordon will return, and it did. There was a second serial called Flash Gordon Goes to Mars, which leads into the next disc I bought. I didn't buy the serialized version of Flash Gordon Goes to Mars, but there was a movie-length version of it I wanted to get, but 68 minutes long. Mars Attacks the World. And that's Flash Gordon. I guess that's supposed to be Queen Azura. She's this evil queen that falls in love with Flash Gordon, and remember listening to the radio serial on Cult Radio Go-Go, she erased his memory so he would think he was her king, but in the process he lost his memories of his girlfriend Dale Arden and his friend Dr. Zarkov. That was in the radio serial. I haven't watched any of Flash Gordon Goes to Mars. I've seen bits of Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe, which was the final movie serial. But I've never seen Mars Attacks the World or Flash Gordon Goes to Mars. But I've heard the radio serial on Cult Radio Go-Go. So, yeah, and Cult Radio Go-Go is a little bit of everything. They promote the old drive-in movies like classic horror, sci-fi, B-grade, sex comedies, pornography, like pornographic films of the 70s. And then, of course, they play old-time radio shows, vintage music, like 60s, 70s, 80s music, and old-time, or vintage educational film audio, audio trailers of vintage drive-in movies, all different kinds of stuff. And usually they do a live show on Saturday nights from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, where they'll interview a different guest, which could be either a drive-in movie actor, director, producer, a musician from the past. Just all different types of B-movie and B-grade celebrities. Just mainly stuff outside of mainstream. Yeah, just stuff outside of the mainstream pop culture. So it's www.cultradioagogo.com, and I'll have a link below. So, Flash Gordon, Cult Radio Go-Go. And then one classic TV series I never owned on DVD that was based on a 1976 film that I've seen. But I found out about the TV show from Turner Network Television, TNT, back in the 90s. They had a Logan's Run marathon where they showed the original film, and they showed about half of the episodes of the short-lived TV show of the same name. And sadly, it looks like the DVD set of the whole series has gone out of print, but I found one Amazon Prime eligible third-party seller that had some copies of the DVD set, so I bought the complete series of Logan's Run. And the series starred Gregory Harrison as Logan, and then Heather Menzies, who was one of the child actors in the Sound of Music movie, playing one of the Von Trapp children, playing his girlfriend, Jessica. Yeah, Logan 5, the Sandman, and Jessica 6. And the Sandmen hunt down people running from the city, mainly people who are trying to live past the age 30, because they have to go on carousel to be supposedly renewed to live another 30 years, but that turns out to be a lie. So Jessica's helping the runners escape, and Logan finds out that carousel's a lie, so he decides to join her to find a place outside the domed city they live in the future called Sanctuary. Yeah, Gregory Harrison, I don't know what else he did, but Heather Menzies had done some drive-in movies. She was in Roger Corman's Piranha. She did sometime after this. And then she was in the movie Yeah, like the sound a snake makes, with Dirk Benedict, who was in Battlestar Galactica, the original show, and the A-Team. But this only lasted for 14 episodes, and 3 of the episodes didn't... Yeah, it lists there being 3 of the episodes didn't air nationally, but this, I believe, was originally on CBS back in the late 70s, 1977 to 1978. But unlike the theatrical movie from 1976, Logan and Jessica find an android that looks like an older person, like an old man, named Rem, who becomes their sidekick in their search for sanctuary, and they find this futuristic tank machine that they use to travel around the outside world searching for sanctuary. And sadly, Heather Menzies died of cancer, I believe in 2017. She was married to actor Robert Urich, who also died of cancer. But it doesn't look like this has any extras, it's just all 14 episodes of the show. But you do get subtitles in English and French. And read a little bit at the back. In 2319, much of the Earth's civilization has been wiped out and now survives in small, isolated societies. In the City of Domes, citizens live idyllic lives until they turn 30 and are led to Carousel for renewal, but instead are killed. In Sandman Logan 5, Gregory Harrison dares to question the ruling order. Beautiful rebel Jessica 6, Heather Menzies, helps him escape to the outside world. Now Logan, Jessica, and their android companion Rem are on a desperate quest for the fabled utopian sanctuary, but with an elite police force in hot pursuit of the runners and bizarre civilizations at every turn. Death is always one step behind. The 3-disc complete series contains all 14 explosive adventures of the retro-futuristic thriller, including 3 episodes that were not aired nationally. And this is Region 1 locked. It's in colors 711 minutes, not rated because it was TV show, dual layer format. It's from Warner Brothers, and they started streaming this. Well, it was originally MGM TV, but Warner Archive owns it now, so they started streaming it. So far, no Blu-ray and no manufactured on-demand reissue. They're just streaming it so far, since the DVD set's gone out of print, so I was lucky to get it brand new. So that's what I got from Amazon Prime over the weekend, but I got some more Amazon Prime buys today. And one of my Facebook friends I met through YouTube, Heath Holland, who runs the YouTube channel Serial at Midnight, and he told me, found out from his YouTube videos all about how Mego was making these new action figures that were exclusive to Target, and I bought one at Target, but now I believe Amazon.com is starting to sell them, so they won't be exclusive to Target anymore. And does have Patreon subscribers to his YouTube channel, so I've always enjoyed his YouTube videos where he talks about various different movies, TV, and music out on DVD, CD, Blu-ray. And he did audio commentary on one of the original G.I. Joe cartoons, the 80s, so I own a DVD set of some G.I. Joe cartoons, but I didn't own the first 5 episodes of the original miniseries, so I bought the season 1.1 that's got the original miniseries included. So you see Flint, Snake Eyes, Roadblock, Scarlet, and Duke. Yo Joe. G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Missions Force. Its purpose to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. He never gives up, he stays till the fights won't. G.I. Joe won't dare. Okay, it's late, so I'm not going to be singing a whole lot. In 1983, Hasbro made a bold statement when it relaunched G.I. Joe as an adventure-based team of unique characters, each with his and her own specialties, because it captured the imaginations and hearts of boys and girls aspiring to make a difference in the world. G.I. Joe, a real American hero, was an immediate success lasting over 25 years. Now you can relive the original animated adventures of Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Flint, Lady J, and the rest of the Joe team with this 4 DVD set of G.I. Joe, a real American hero, including the first part of the series' inaugural season and the 3 annual 5-part miniseries that started it all, The Mass Device, and Heath did an audio commentary on the first part of that 5-part miniseries, The Mass Device, which started the 80s cartoon, and then The Revenge of Cobra, which was the second miniseries, and then third miniseries called The Pyramid of Darkness. And bonus features include Knowing is Half the Battle PSAs, Looking Back with the writer Ron Friedman, archival Hasbro toy commercials, G.I. Joe's original 1963 toy fair presentation. I believe Mego made the original G.I. Joe doll-sized action figures back in the 60s and 70s before Hasbro came out with the little mini-sized action figures of the 80s and 90s. And then there's a printable script for the episode Jungle Trap. And it's Region 1 locked for US DVD and Blu-ray players. Total running time approximately 8 hours. General audiences. It's licensed by Hasbro for Shout Factory. Yeah. 4 DVDs. So, check out Serial at Midnight YouTube channel, and I'll have a link to Heath's Serial at Midnight YouTube channel below. And a few other of my favorite YouTube channels I want to promote. The Wicker Boy, who also shows off his latest acquisitions of his DVD and Blu-ray collection, and he does reviews. And of course, Serial at Midnight. And then a few others I found out about more recently. Retro Blasting, run by Michael French and his wife Melinda. They do action figure reviews of vintage Star Wars toys, as well as vintage toys like action figures, mainly of the 80s and 90s. Well, not too much of the 90s, but they did cover Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which started in the 80s and went through the 90s. And recently, Michael had made friends with a guy in Australia who had gotten that Star Wars Return of the Jedi sail barge toy from Hasbro, and Hasbro refused to ship it to Australia, despite the fact it had been paid for. This guy paid for it, was a paying customer, but just because he lived in Australia, Hasbro refused to ship the toy to him, saying, well, if you can't get it shipped to a US address, we can just throw it away. Well, that's just a waste. This is a way you're going to treat a paying customer? That Michael was nice enough to go all the way to Australia to be sure the toy got to this guy in one piece. So I thought that was awfully nice of him to go all that way to be sure that a fellow Star Wars fan and fellow Star Wars toy collector could get that toy when Hasbro, that was once Kenner, couldn't ship it to a paying customer. Okay, it's 27 minutes. So Retro Blasting, it's another YouTube channel I enjoy watching that I leave linked below. And then another guy who's a Star Wars toy collector that lives in Australia, UsualMike Television. Always enjoy his videos on Star Wars toys, so I'll leave him linked below as well. And then OnlyOne Kenobi, OnlyOne, as opposed to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he does a little bit of an impersonation of Alec Guinness's character of Ben Obi-Wan and Kenobi in his voiceovers. He sounds a little bit like Alec Guinness. But, yeah. OnlyOne is Star Wars toy collector in England, and he does some really fun Star Wars toy collecting videos, so I'll leave him linked below. And then one other toy collector, it's another guy in England that, when I mention Toy Polloi, is a name he uses for his channel. His name's Dave, but he goes by Toy Polloi, the name of his YouTube channel, and he does these fun little toy restoration videos where he restores Star Wars toys, and also recently he restored some Chips action figures, large action figures, the two characters from the 70s TV series, Eric Estrada. One was the Eric Estrada character, and I don't know the name of the other guy. I wasn't a big fan of Chips, but I'm fairly familiar with the TV show from watching it occasionally in reruns. But Toy Polloi is another guy. I'll leave his YouTube channel linked below. So it's almost 30 minutes, and it is late. And I've got other stuff to get done, so a few more acquisitions of my physical media collection. I believe Vinegar Syndrome's Crown International Pictures titles are probably going to go out of print soon, because one of my friends had told me that their deal with Crown International Pictures is about over with, and then they only have a few more titles left licensed. I believe they're putting out Horror High and Best Friends and one other one. I don't want to mention it because it hasn't really been mentioned publicly. As far as I could tell, it hasn't been mentioned publicly, so I'm not going to mention what it is. So I got a couple Crown International Pictures BluRay DVD combo packs that Vinegar Syndrome put out, and discs are loose. Got the Hearse from 1980. It's one PG rated one, and there's a few extras, but yeah, Trish Van Devere, she's not interviewed, but she was in this. But there's an interview on both, I believe both the DVD and the Blu-ray, with the lead actor, David Gautreaux. And then in the film's newly scanned and restored in 2K from the original 35mm camera negative, and then the original trailer, TV spot, promotional gallery, and then this artwork is reversible. So get, I believe, newly commissioned artwork underneath this, and then English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, and the Blu-ray is multi-regional, regions A, B, and C, and the DVD should be region-free, and it's in a 1.85 widescreen mono audio, 99 minutes color. So it should be PG rated. I heard this was one that was PG. Crown International had begun putting out movies to drive-ins in the 60s, some before, I believe before there were film ratings, so, but then they started doing X and R-rated movies mainly, but then they did a few that, like this one, that were PG. The barrier between life and death is no greater than the thickness of a door. Now the door is open. The Hearse. This other one, the discs, luckily, don't sound to be too loose, but it's a double feature. Another Blu-ray DVD combo. Blood Mania and Point of Terror. And there's an extra DVD that has the alternate TV versions of both films. And it's 168 minutes total for both movies. One movie being from 1970 and the other one being from 1971. And they're both in color, and both 1.85 widescreen mono audio, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Blu-rays are region A, B, C, and the DVD should be region free. And then special features, both films scanned and restored in 2K from 35mm camera negatives. Commentary track on Blood Mania with Robert Vincent O'Neill, the director, Leslie Sims, actress, and actress Vicki Peters, who I believe was also in Playboy. and then video interview and introduction with director Robert Vincent O'Neill, video interview with actress Leslie Sims, and then theatrical trailers for both films and TV spots for both films, promotional galleries for both films, and reversible cover artwork. And I believe both of these movies are R-rated. Well, Point of Terror might be PG, but I know Blood Mania is definitely, I think it is R. It doesn't list any ratings, but I think Blood Mania is at least an R. Point of Terror might be PG. I just know these aren't porn, and Vinegar Syndrome does also release pornography, but these are some of the non-porn films that they put out. They've been putting out a lot of horror movies over past few years. They start out with mainly pornography and better copies of public domain horror and exploitation films, but then they started doing a whole bunch of horror movies, mainly B-grade stuff, like the drive-in stuff covered on Cult Radio A Go-Go. So, one more DVD, one my mother doesn't like, but made-for-TV movie miniseries based on the capture and murder trial of serial killer Charles Manson, who luckily is now deceased. Yeah, Helter Skelter. And it's in full frame since this was shown on network TV back when TVs were in full screen, the 1.33. This is in color, 184 minutes, not rated, region 1 locked DVD from Warner Brothers. Subtitles in English, French, and Spanish. Terrifying, chilling Stephen H. Scour movies on TV and video cassette. He boasts of 35 murders and is under indictment for 7, but legal experts say there may not be enough evidence to convict notorious killer Charles Manson. They predict he will leave the courtroom a free man. Helter Skelter is the compelling, often harrowing, true story of investigation and trial that brought Manson and the members of his family to justice, and his family being his gang. Steve Railsback plays Manson with wild-eyed tenacity, ranting at the court and the system it represents. George DiCenso portrays lead prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi, combining facts and legal stratagems into a solid case. Actual court transcripts were used in many trial scenes. The result is the kind of frightening, fascinating, and startling viewing that can only come from real life. And years back, my friends Terry and Tiffany Dufo, who run Cult Radio A Go-Go, they interviewed actor Steve Railsback, who played Charles Manson in this TV movie miniseries. This also stars actress Marilyn Burns, who was in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, playing Linda Kasabian, who was a part of the Charles Manson gang, but she didn't kill anyone. She drove the car to the killings, but she didn't commit any murder, and she She helped put him and his gang away. She was not a cold-blooded killer. And then this also stars one other actress from some drive-in and cult movies. Christina Hart plays one of the three main Manson women in this. So, Helter Skelter. So now I will do a recap, and so first up, over the weekend, I got out a print image DVD of the original Flash Gordon movie serial, from 1936, which was later released to television as Space Soldiers. So Buster Crabbe playing Flash Gordon and Charles Middleton playing the evil ruler of Planet Mongo, Ming the Merciless. And then I got the feature-length version of the second Flash Gordon movie serial, Flash Gordon Goes to Mars, called Mars Attacks the World. Yeah, Sinister Cinema, but I had to buy it through Amazon. Sinister Cinema no longer sells it directly. And then, also over the weekend, I bought out a print DVD set of Logan's Run, the TV show, based on the 1976 movie. From 1977 to 78. It was a one-season hit wonder for TV series. And Heather Menzies playing Jessica Six in the movie. Jenny Agutter played her, Heather Menzies played her on the TV show. Jenny Agutter played Jessica in the movie. And Heather Menzies did some drive-in cult movies such as Piranha and with Dirk Benedict. And then she was one of the Von Trapp children in the original Sound of Music movie. So that's what I got over the weekend, all Amazon Prime buys. In fact, these are all Amazon Prime buys. I've got a package coming from Ronin Flicks and third-party seller buy off of Amazon. And then I bought a DVD from Katarina Lee Waters' website of one of her old Nightmare Theater DVDs. And then I bought the DVD set of Season 1.1 of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, classic 80s cartoon series. Yeah, my friend Heath, who has Serial at Midnight YouTube channel, reminded me of this cartoon, so giving Serial at Midnight a shout out. And be sure to check out the link to his YouTube channel below this video, and then Cult Radio A Go-Go, the link to their website that'll give you listening options to their radio station be below, where they play old-time radio and all kinds of retro pop culture stuff outside of the mainstream. And then, links below for some of my other favorite YouTube channels: The Wicker Boy, Retro Blasting, UsualMike Television, OnlyOne Kenobi, and Toy Poloi. I have links to their YouTube channels below. Then, I got this from Amazon Prime today. And then some DVD Blu-ray combos. I got off Amazon Prime, the Vinegar Syndrome DVD Blu-ray combo of the Crown International Pictures drive-in cult classic The Hearse. And a couple 70s Crown International Pictures B-grade horror movies, Blood Mania and Point of Terror. Point of Terror being somewhat like an Italian giallo, but it's an American movie. And Point of Terror stars B-movie actress Diane Thorne, best known for playing Ilsa, she-wolf of the SS. She did Point of Terror before she was Ilsa. So, Blood Mania and Point of Terror, two other Crown International Pictures B-grade movie cult classics, licensed from Crown International Pictures by Vinegar Syndrome. These I bought off of Amazon Prime. Probably go out of print soon, since I heard their license with Crown is about up. They only have a few more movies licensed from Crown. And then I got the Warner Brothers DVD of TV miniseries Helter Skelter, about the capture and the murder trial of Charles Manson and his gang. So, be sure to check out cultradioagogo.com for my friends Terry and Tiffany's radio station. Have the web link below to their radio station, where they play old-time radio, audio trailers of classic drive-in movies, retro music, and more. All different types of retro pop culture of the past that's outside of the mainstream. Below, check out web links to some fellow YouTube channels. The Wicker Boy guy in the UK also collects horror movies on DVD and Blu-ray. He does some reviews as well. And then Serial at Midnight, who is a collector of physical media discs, such as DVD, Blu-ray, and now he's collecting some Ultra HD discs, since he's got the Ultra HD equipment to play Ultra HD discs on. And then Retro Blasting, who does reviews on Star Wars toys of the past and all different vintage action figure lines, and sometimes he'll interview some newer stuff if it's stuff he likes. And then UsualMike Television's also YouTube channel, Star Wars Toy Collector, but he's in Australia. Yeah, Serial Midnight Retro Blasting to Star Wars fans in the US. UsualMike Television being in Australia, he collects Star Wars action figures. And then OnlyOne Kenobi's a Star Wars toy collector in the UK. In England, he's got a YouTube channel, so it's another YouTube channel link to check below. And then Toy Polloy's another British guy that collects Star Wars toys and other retro toys, and he restores action figures and vintage toys in his YouTube videos, and he does some videos of some toys he also just collects, but mainly does restoration of old action figures and toys. So be sure to check out his YouTube channel that's linked below. So that's it for my DVD and Blu-ray update video for June 2019, being part 2, and check out and keep an eye out for part 3 coming soon, because I've got some more Blu-rays and DVDs coming in the mail. So I'm Tim, and thanks for watching my update video, and be sure to check out Cult Radio Agogo at cultradioagogo.com, as well as a few of my fellow YouTubers. Be all linked below. So I'm Tim. Thank you for watching.